Hi, everybody. I'm Mike, and this is Mike Miller Talks Life. And today's quote: love is not about keeping score. There are a lot of places where keeping score belongs. It's important, kind of essential. Highly competitive people are super driven, and they come alive when something becomes a competition, and they keep score. They always know the score, even if it's not printed somewhere. And it may not even be an official competition. You could just be walking together. But people who are scorekeepers are trying to count the steps. Am I a little bit ahead of you? Am I making it hard for you to keep up? They want to keep score because they're competitive. In sports, all competitions, scorekeeping is there. It happens. I mean, you're not going to have a friendly little game where we're not going to keep score because somebody is keeping score and they're registering it. When I used to play golf, we would go and it would sort of be like, hey, we're just a friendly game. We're not going to keep score. Some people in the group kept score. You just keep score. And you keep your score, but you also keep track of what the other people are doing. The Olympics are coming and almost here. Everything is about scorekeeping. Families, many families play board games, card games. This is always a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and it's a cool thing to do. But there are some major scorekeepers in every family, and keeping score is crucial because they want to win. I am kind of an old guy and I walk. And when I first got here and I started walking, I needed some exercise and my body was kind of breaking down. And when I first started, I was horrible. I couldn't hardly walk very far at all. But I sort of kept trying to push a little bit and try to improve. I kept thinking, I think I can get better and push. Well, there are many other people that walk, and I see them in the morning, and I've also set a goal to be a little more outgoing, and so I've met a lot of people and know them by name, and they're walking. I've noticed I feel like a nice, easygoing guy, but I can get pretty amped up, and I can be a scorekeeper. And I watch these people walking, and when I first started walking, everybody walking, even the guy in the wheelchair who's not walking, was faster than me. And then I found I was sort of gaining on these people. And then I started thinking, I'm going to pass them. I can beat them. They're way older than me. I know I can pass them up. And I did. I'd scoot right by. I'd act real nice and pleasant, but inside I'm thinking, I'm beating you. And I would go further than them. And because I'm a scorekeeper at heart when it comes to some things. It's interesting though. There is a place for scorekeeping, but there is a place where it does not belong at all. And that is in love relationships. I'm thinking ideally the marriage. That's the ultimate relationship. But it can be in other relationships like good friends or college roommates, your home group that's a part of your church, families, parent, child, siblings, and the ultimate marriage. You see, relationships are a wonderful thing. They're an essential part of a healthy life. We enjoy being with these people that we care deeply about. We love them. We support each other. We build each other up. And the bond of a good relationship is love, a deep commitment to one another. And love is not about keeping score. And in an ancient piece of prose that is used in many weddings, it is on many plaques that decorate many homes. It's a piece of literature that came from the New Testament, which is part 2 of the Bible. It was written by the Apostle Paul. And he's talking about love. And he says, first, he says what love is. Love is patient and kind. But then he goes into a list of things that love is not. And one of those, he says, love is not self-seeking. Love does not keep a record of wrongs. Scorekeeping. When we begin scorekeeping, keeping a record of wrongs and rights, wins and losses, we are sliding into self-centeredness. And self-centeredness, selfishness, is a natural enemy of love. And we do not want to welcome this attitude into a loving relationship or marriage. Another way of keeping score is not about winning, like doing better. It's about something much different. Many times we think we're doing more in the relationship than anybody else. I'm the one who always does these jobs. I'm the one who always starts things, sets things up, makes arrangements, picks where we're going to go. It's always on me. Sometimes a person's personality sort of draws them to this. They like serving, they like doing all this, but after a while it can become too much. We become resentful. We believe we're giving way more to this relationship than we're getting back, which is always a red flag. And we have a scorecard to prove it because we're scorekeepers, and we can look on that card and look at all the things we do and just a few things other people do. In our family, with our friends, our marriage, we begin to feel like we're carrying it. We're doing it all. And we start feeling sort of taken advantage of, taken for granted. We get hurt and we feel neglected, unloved. And we develop a habit of looking at all we do and how little others do. And our resentment level is just growing. Scorekeeping may be appropriate in sports and other games, but it has no place in a relationship. It is highly destructive. Scorekeeping brings self-centeredness. It's all about me. This is deadly to a relationship. It brings resentment of the situation and even the other people if we feel we're doing more than they are. It opens the door to destructive communication. And this is passive-aggressive comments being thrown back and forth. And this is totally toxic in a relationship. And we're blinding ourselves to the good things in the relationship. It breeds mistrust. I don't really think you have my back because you're always watching out for yourself. You're not going to trust a person like that. Scorekeeping in a relationship is really kind of interesting because you may get a higher score, but you're not winning. You can't win in a relationship by scorekeeping. The relationship is suffering. Scorekeeping can suck the life out of a relationship, especially if both people in a marriage are keeping score. It's no longer a loving, supportive, safe relationship. It has become a competition. And when you're competing, you don't care about the people on the other team or the other side of the net or in the other lane of the swimming pool. You don't care about them. You're competing. You want to win. Every time you tally the score in your relationship, you're pulling further apart. I think it might be a good idea to make a few little changes. And I think it might begin with redefining what your home is. Home is supposed to be a safe place. Just like in baseball, you're headed home and you're safe at home and your team pats you on the back and says, way to go, and other kinds of things. Home is a safe place, a place where you feel loved unconditionally, supported, encouraged, a place that builds you up. No one wants to come home to a competitive environment. So maybe make a change in redefining what home is. Maybe talk about it. If you feel like you're doing way more than your share, why not just say that? I feel like I'm carrying most of the load around here, and I like for us to start sharing it. Or I could really use some help with these projects. See, you're just saying it. You're not, going off. You're not getting filled with rage and spewing all this anger on people. Many times people aren't even aware how you're feeling because you haven't said anything. So there's no need to go off. It's just a need to say, hey, I could use a little help. I'm always doing this and I really can't do it all right now. And really how you feel about it, that's your responsibility. It's not the other people. I think it would also help to start working on checking your self-centered spirit. Competing is totally self-centered. So if you're a competitor, you don't want to bring that self-centered attitude and spirit home. It's just not going to help because it is a natural enemy of a loving relationship. And it comes across as mean and creates an anti-loving atmosphere. So it might be good to check yourself. You know, if you're a competitor and a scorekeeper, you know when it's beginning and you just want to check it. Maybe it might also help to add keeping score of the positive. We all keep score in some degree. Maybe begin tracking some good things about your home and about your partner and what they bring to the relationship. Some of those quality traits that are really a plus. See the good in your spouse, not only what they're not doing. And just begin to say those kinds of things. This is what I do, but this is what my spouse does. And it's just including them. Not only this is what I'm doing, I'm carrying this thing. I think maybe good to be challenging yourself to move away from this automatic me thinking to a more intentional and conscious we thinking. This is our marriage, our home, our family, our projects. And you're pulling together instead of competing, either trying to prove I can do more or you're doing too much and they're not doing enough. Any way that scorekeeping manifests itself, you want to root it out of your relationships because love is not about keeping score. Thanks for listening. If you liked it, I hope you'll click like, maybe subscribe if you're into that. This is just a chance to talk about life, real life, and how it works. So I hope this was helpful and maybe a reminder for you if you're kind of a competitive person, scorekeeper. There's a better way to relate in a relationship, and that does not include scorekeeping. Thanks for tuning in, and so next week, have a great week.